Everybody listen to We're Not Wizards, because we are the best, and we're not wizards, no matter what anybody says. Goodbye.
Welcome to another episode of We're Not Wizards. My name's Richard. I'll be your host for April 2019. And it's a fun time. It's a good time. It's a time to be happy and joyous and not full of fear. And maybe I am a little bit full of fear because you don't have to pronounce the names I have to pronounce that I've practiced. I have certain fears, and one of them is mispronouncing people's names. So, he's a gentleman. He's kind of known through kind of Dan Hughes and Mike Delisio and Sporadically Bored, and we had a conversation. And first of all, he's from Mitä, Pelataan, and his name is Jani. And it's Jani Kontkanen. And hello, Jani.
Hi. That was actually quite good.
Was it?
Yeah.
I've been practicing. I've been practicing all week.
Only for a week. Come on. That sounded like you're native.
Thank you very much. Though I have no idea how to say thank you in Finnish. I mean, this could be like an entirely kind of trans-global kind of almost board game kind of exchange kind of thing. We've kind of, to give a kind of a bit of background, we actually kind of came to talking through Sporadically Bored because there is this fabulous Facebook group that Dan Hughes and Mike Delisio have formed and brought everybody together, and people join and we have conversations. And so I think just one day we kind of got chatting, and then one thing led to another, and this has taken us to this very, very kind of lovely kind of episode that everybody's going to be listening to today, and hopefully very, very kind of, they're going to get an awful lot of fun out of it. I guess for people who are listening for the first time and going, I don't know why I was recommended to come to this podcast. It's an actual disaster. And you would be right. The reason that we do this is because I want to speak to everybody who's ever involved in board games, ever. And the other reason that we do this is because sometimes I just like to speak to people who are involved in the hobby in their own certain way and find out about the games that they play and the lives that they lead, and what they do with meeples when you've got like 3 hours of solid daylight during the summer. So that's why Jani's here to talk to us. But first of all, how are you, sir? Are you well?
I'm actually well. I'm really tired because it's been very busy at work before Easter now. It's just before Easter, and I'm so tired at the moment, but it's good. It's the normal state at the moment, it seems.
What is it you do?
I'm at the university. I'm a teacher educator. I'm a university student. So I'm teaching teachers.
Wow.
And I'm also doing my PhD, but it's been on hold for like 3 years now because I've had too much teaching. I haven't had time to finish the articles. I have 2 articles out. I need 3 or 4.
So you're writing, so you're kind of teaching teachers how to teach and also writing papers on how to teach as well, but not actually being able to do your PhD because you've been teaching teachers so much.
Yes, basically. Teaching teachers to teach, something like that.
It's a big long string. You could extend this joke so far until it one day might be funny. So there you go. But I mean, one of the things we like to do for anybody who, accidentally says yes to coming on the show, and there's so many of you, is we like to find out a little bit more about your history with the hobby. What you can't see at the moment is behind Jani there is a treasure trove of cardboard behind him on various shelves. It's so well organised, and it's so Moorish. It actually puts Mr. Mike Delisio to shame, if I'm being perfectly honest. And there's a lot of stuff. My job is done then. That's it. We can finish the podcast right now. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything anymore.
But we need to handle Mr. Hughes as well. Hugs, what was it? Dan Hugs.
Dan Hugs. The internet titan.
Tight and what?
Yeah. Slight different. Yeah, I'm glad you kind of got the pronunciation there, kind of, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not my native language, so I might make mistakes.
I accidentally call him a tit. Is that what you're saying?
But it's a bird. Yeah, they are singing outside today.
They are definitely singing outside today. How did you get into the hobby? I mean, what's the the board gaming scene kind of like in Finland? I mean, is it similar to the kind of the UK? Did you grow up on kind of Monopoly and things like that, or was there kind of different things that would get round the kind of the family table?
Actually, I think that Finnish people in general, we play a lot of games when we are children, and with the families we have this kind of game culture. There is this game Afrikan Tähti, and I'm certain that almost all the Finns have played it at some point in their life, because it's this famous Finnish design from 54, I think, 1954. Wow. And it's basically Roland movement. You're trying to find the what is it in English, Star of Africa or something, like a huge diamond from the African continent, and then you get other gems and such. Very basic and not very good game, but better than people consider it to be. Actually, it's better than Monopoly. That's for sure.
That's a strong word there. That's a strong, bold claim. You're bringing Monopoly to it. Monopoly is a strong game. It can be a strong game. It's also quite a rubbish game, but it can be a strong game. So was there that, or was there other games? I mean, did you actually get Monopoly?
Yeah. I still have some version. I have this Tropical Island version still, but I haven't played it because it has this CD or DVD. I don't know. I don't have anywhere where to play it with. But something, I got it used, so I have to have it. I'm waiting for the kid to be old enough so I can play with her.
Is it like a soundtrack or a video or something like that?
I have no idea. I can go and look. It's in Finnish. It has DVD, it says. Yeah.
It's a DVD?
Yeah, there's a DVD. I don't know what it does.
So it could be anything at all. It could be just a copy of Dirty Dancing.
Maybe I should check it before I play it with the kid, actually. Maybe I should check it. It can be any.
You should, because it could be anything. It could be like a trick.
But I bought it from a friend of mine. He wouldn't do such a thing, I think.
Are you sure?
No.
Are you absolutely sure here? I mean, as long as you... the best way to... I guess to call them out on this is to say, I'm going to be playing this Monopoly game at the weekend, and just see if they say they want to come round and play it with you, so they can maybe catch your reaction when you put the DVD in the machine. Maybe that's what it is. So I would kind of call them on that.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. He sold it right before they got their kid.
All right, okay.
So there might be some kind of point in what you're saying.
I would just double check. Trust nobody. Don't trust me, for goodness sake. As you grew up, one of the things you mentioned before we started is that generally there's like periods of kind of daylight and non-daylight where the kind of like the days can last for a long period of time, to the point where you can't tell where kind of the days end and begin. And obviously, if you've got a clock, you can. But if you're relying on just the sunlight, and other times it's kind of like dark. Does that mean that? Did that encourage you to kind of play more games indoors as you were growing up, or was it just something that you kind of got used to? You just lived with. Did you continue to play kind of board games as you were growing up, as you got older?
Yeah, actually, I played all the time. Since I was a very small child, we had some old game in our cottage. It's called Parrigate in Finnish. I have no idea what's it in English. I can check it from Board Game Geek, but it's this game. It had very nice, this white, like cylinder pieces. And there was not that kind of wooden pieces in other games that I had seen at that point. So I was just playing with it. I mean, playing around with it and also playing with it. And then some solitaire and chess, of course, and this kind of children's games. Chess is not a children's game, but anyway.
Chess is not. Chess is one of these games that parents who don't understand chess kind of roll out and say, you have a go at game with that. And then they end up spending 3 hours having to remind the kids what the horsey does and what the castle does and what the guy with a huge frown in his head kind of does as well. So it's a kind of like a pretty complicated type game to kind of roll out to kids itself. Did you continue kind of playing then? As you were growing up, was it something that you never kind of got rid of then?
I played until I got Super Nintendo. When I got the Super Nintendo, then I played that. And from there I played that for a very long time. Then I began playing Magic.
Oh, right.
When it was right at the moment of when Ice Age was published. So very long time ago.
Back in the Ice Age.
Back in Ice Age. It was before the 5th edition. And I quit when the 5th edition came, so it's very long time ago. I was playing in tournaments and such, but then it got a bit boring and I went to army, so I had to in a way quit. And I moved to Warhammer. I had too many miniatures, and then I noticed that it would take the rest of my life to paint them. So I just decided to sold them away and get an American car, and then I had the 63 Chevrolet Impala, and then I sold that away to my brother because I couldn't pay for the place where I was holding it in this garage, because you have to pay the rent, and while I was in the army I couldn't pay the rent for that, so I sold it to my brother. I was trying to finish it, but I couldn't really finish it. It was taking also time, not the rest of my life, but probably it would have taken if I tried to make it fancy. And then I went to university and I didn't really play any board games or such for that time. Then I found in 2009, I think I found Board Game Geek, and then it's been uphill, I mean, from there.
Sideways.
Which is better, actually. Downhill is easier to go. Uphill is more difficult. So
Uphill's
it's been downhill
difficult.
from there.
Potentially more rewarding.
Yeah.
If it's kind of went downhill from there, it went uphill from there, kind of denotes some kind of struggle. You mentioned my trigger word, which is Super Nintendo, which is one of my favourite consoles of all time. And I was like, stop talking, so we could talk about the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it's the best console ever. I still have mine, actually. I'm saving it until my daughter is 5 or 6, and then I have Super Mario, the PAL version. It's still working. I checked a few years ago. So I'm waiting for her to be old enough, and then we will somehow try to attach it to the TV. And then look how bad it looks in the big screen.
That's the thing. It's like, it's all very well having these kind of like these old retro consoles, but you really need to have like an old retro television nowadays, because if you put a new TV, a lot of them don't even have like a SCART lead anymore, which the Super Nintendo kind of usually takes. What were your favourite games playing the Super Nintendo? What were the ones you loved?
I've still played Super Mario World because it's, in my opinion, it's one of the best Marios. Maybe the best. Maybe. Super Mario Galaxy is good. The first Galaxy is good. But
Super Mario
But
World
I think Super Mario World is the best because it was revolutionary. There was Yoshi and you finish it and then you had to collect everything and then the color changed, and in that one world, Chocolate World or wherever it was. I just finished it a few years ago. Right before our daughter was born, I was playing.
You had to get, was it 96 stars or something like that? Every time you completed a level, you got like a star. And once you got on 96, then you're right, it changed the entire colour palette to like is it a pastel?
I think it reversed. The brown went to green in the chocolate world, if I remember correct.
Yeah.
And it was so painful because some stars were so difficult. There were more than one star in some worlds. And
there was an entire kind of like challenge run, which was like just 2 lines, which had about 10 different levels on them, and some of them were just absolutely ridiculous. But what I remember was that in Mario World, you could sometimes finish a level 2 ways.
Yeah, or
if
even
it had
3
like
ways.
if it had like a red dot, you had the ability to go back and maybe you could finish a level early, or you could finish a level a different way. Yeah. And sometimes if you could be racking your brains. I remember the number of times I was on like 95 stars, and I ended up pretty much playing through the entire game again to try and get myself kind of doing it the kind of the right way. What about did you play like Zelda?
Yes, of course.
Of course you did.
What is it? Awakening. I think it's Awakening. Or A Link to the Past.
Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
See that? Mario World, so the reason Super Mario World is the best Mario game is that's the reason that they made Mario Maker, basically. So
Mario Maker was the one with the Mario's face that you just had to pull the nose in the beginning, right?
Yeah, that was the 64.
No, it was Mario Paint, actually.
Mario Paint. Mario Maker's I think the one that's on the Wii U, where you could make the levels.
Yeah.
And so my son now spends his days making Mario levels for me to try and beat, but he does them in the Super Mario World kind of level, so it's still really, really cool and really, really exciting and an awful lot of fun. But anyway, jumping forward, is Magic, would you consider going back into Magic again, now that the way that they seem to be changing? Because to me, when I first saw Magic, it seemed to be like a seasonal thing, like once a year there would be a big announcement, there'd be a big change in the meta, and now they seem to be bringing out something new kind of every kind of 6 months, if not sooner than that.
I think there is too much. It's too convoluted. I mean, I don't know. I liked Magic when it was smaller, and it wasn't like there are 50 billion cards and 20,000 different versions of those cards. I liked it then. But then again, when I was still playing, I had these mind twists and such. Not mind twists, sorry. What's the card? I didn't have the Power 9, but I had some kind of expensive cards. And now, if I'm thinking, I should have saved them, because now I could pay this house with those cards or something like that. But I didn't have the Power 9. I had this Mana Drain was the card, and I had dual lands. I had almost all color dual lands, 4 of each, because I was kind of playing all colors. But now it would be impossible to do it. It's just ridiculous how many different cards there are in a set. I just got this pile from a friend of mine, because I'm using them for a prototype as card basis. And I'm just checking these, and I have no idea what these keywords I say. There is like Death Touch.
Yes.
And then there's some very crazy other. This is good audio, by the way. Reach or such.
It's amazing. That's fine. I mean, these people are just going to have to wait. I'm interested in finding out on these cards, And, for every good part of the podcast, there's going to be bits of the podcast where you're showing me Magic cards and explaining them.
Yeah, look at this art. It's so cool, isn't it?
That's really nice. Orchid Spirit. That's a really, really nice card. I like that.
And so you know these cards?
No, I don't play Magic.
Okay.
No, I don't have anything to do with Magic. The clue's in the name of the show. Otherwise it'd be called We Love Wizards, and we are loving all of the magic. Give me your Magic the Gathering. The only issue with that is you'd end up with a really, really long name for the podcast, and I don't think you could get like a Twitter handle for it. I'm just that's kind of my my thoughts. What kind of games do you like playing?
That's a really interesting question. I like playing everything that is good. It's a stupid answer, but I like a game that makes me have to think, but also it shouldn't make me think like wrong kinds of things. How can I explain? It has to be heavy enough, but it also should be light enough. Like Settlers of Catan, I hate it. I hate it because that game is broken, but this is not probably the time to explain why it's broken. Broken meaning that 3 players or even 2 players can ruin a game for 1 player if they just build in a way that 1 player can't do anything for the rest of the game. It happened to me once and I'm not touching that game again. So I spent 15 minutes of the game trying to build 1 road so I can build 1 more city, but they were faster and I was just drawing cards. And that's it.
And welcome to Bitter Jani, a game where he talks about games. Where other people made his experience with games terrible. I don't like Catan for 2 things. Because of the random element, because you can just have a series of really bad rolls. I mean, it's almost as good as Snakes and Ladders. I've said it.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a really good run on Snakes and Ladders and just be rolling 6s and whatever, and you zoom up the ladders, you can be fine. Or you can end up just rolling the same old 4 again and again and again and going like, oh great, more sheep or more wood. And the other side of it as well is the whole kind of trading side of things that I just, even when I was playing it electronically, it just wasn't fun. I just didn't find it kind of interesting. I didn't have a bad game. I mean, something I would while away the kind of hours. I think maybe I'm the same as you. I like a game I can pick up and be playing within about, say, 20 minutes. But at the same time, if I play that game more than once, I like it to still have value, still be teaching me things on the 5th, the 10th, and the 15th way of playing the game. But I can grasp the basics kind of very, very quickly, so I can get a game played without having to... there's nothing more of a killer than having a rule book you have to keep referring to because the game doesn't naturally make sense. If you know what I mean.
That's actually a good way to put it, because I hate it if the rule book, with 1 reading, you should understand from the rules. It should be like clear enough to understand how the game works. Uh-huh. If you have to go back to rule book all the time, it's not good. I mean, I like heavy games, but they have to be like logical. They have to be heavy for the sake of being deep games. They shouldn't be heavy for the sake of being heavy, or long for the sake of being long. It's ridiculous if games are like that. Yes. And if there is a short game, it has to pack a punch, or how you say it. Like, good example for a fast game is this Stefan Feld's Carpe Diem. It's really quick. The tempo is so quick in it. It takes 1 hour to play, less if everyone has played it. And it's like all the time your turn. It's a bit same in Ethnos, if you've played it. And like, that kind of games are good when they are short. But then, if a short game is, well, if it doesn't have anything in it, in a way, if it's like, okay, I played it, I don't need to play it again, or such, then it's not good. I'm not explaining this very clearly, but
no.
As long as the game stays interesting to me, I can play anything except Catan. and one Finnish game that I'm not playing again, but
what game's that?
It's Matka Karjalaan. It's a Finnish name. Trip to Karelia. Basically, you just roll a die, move somewhere, and ask a question. If the question is correct, then you can roll again. We played it 2 players, and I don't suggest anyone play it. It was ridiculous, and the questions were stupid. It's like combined Chutes and Ladders and Trivial Pursuit with children's questions, so it's...
just not good.
No, it's not even a game, really. It's annoying.
Do you think a lot of games suffer because people don't get them to the table enough times?
Yes,
I mean, I know
definitely.
a lot of games that people they buy lots of games, or they get lots of games.
Yeah.
They have or they pledge on Kickstarter. They get the game in. They then feel obliged to kind of play that game because it's sitting there. Otherwise, it will sit on a shelf behind them.
That's my pile of opportunities, that upper shelf. I've been trying for a year to get mine played because I was like that 2 years ago. I was just Kickstarter. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah. I'm pledging it. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah. Then I'm ending up getting, I have Trickerion on the shelf from the first Kickstarter. My friend said that pack it, we'll play it. And they didn't play it. One of them moved away, that's the problem, because it should have 4 players and it's a bit heavy game, so I don't want to play it with some people who who are not used to playing heavy games. That's also important. If you play heavy game, you should play with people who are used to that, because otherwise it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah. I think that people end up kind of bringing a game to the table because they know that they've paid money for the game, and then once I mean, there's exceptions. I mean, I've played Root quite a few times, and that's because once you get it, it's incredibly easy to get back to the table. And once you've got maybe 2 or 3 people that have learned how to play Root, it's relatively quite simple to bring just that one extra person in to kind of teach them how to do it. But I do know of a lot of games that maybe suffer because people aren't getting them to the table enough times. So there's maybe the hidden depths that people are missing out on, which turns it from something that maybe somebody likes and got a good impression into something that they kind of love.
Definitely. And Root is actually a good example, because I've only played it once. I packed it. I have it. Mm-hmm. We played it once in a convention, but I want to play with the same group, with the same factions, and then begin circulating the faction.
Yes.
But it was good game, but I really don't want to teach it to 10 different people and then not play with the same people, because that really suffers from playing with different people and not playing it again. And it's a really good example, Root.
It kind of makes me hesitant about having any kind of legacy games. I mean, I've got Seafall, and I just don't know when it potentially might happen or when it is going to happen. There's the potentiality of a group getting organised, but it's almost like it's going to have to be like a separate organised event away from the gaming group that I normally go to, only because I need commitment from the same 3 people or 4 people in order to kind of get the game played, which is always a concern. I'd love to just go along to the board game club and say, right, tonight's Seafall night, but first of all, I know that that's not fair, because I think that people like to play something new, play something kind of different, and I have been making a conscious effort to maybe play the games that I haven't been playing. I mean, recently played Vindication, Kami-sama. I'm going to play Fire in the Library next. There's a few other games I want to kind of get people kind of playing. I mean, you mentioned Kickstarter. Do you have the Super Backer badge, Jani?
I think it fades after a while. Does it? I think
yeah.
But I'm not backing anymore because it went overboard when I was getting Kickstarters before I even was able to unwrap some, so I got a bit bored with that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that I'm not backing Kickstarters now after this Glenmore 2 this year, but then I noticed that this your favorite game's expansion, a game that shall not be named, its expansion the company publishing it, they made this trick that their first stretch goal was that they will include double layer player boards. So the cubes don't fly around anymore if someone bumps the table. They have these indentations or some kind of, they have like 2 layers, one with the holes. And that comes free with the expansion. And I saw Rob Rouse from Blueback Pinkback tweet that, and I was like, why did I open Twitter? So I had to back it.
Why? But you don't. You don't need it.
But it's cheaper than getting those player boards. I mean, if you buy those, it's like 50 euros almost. It's almost 10 euros per piece. And you can get the expansion cheaper than you can get those. Because it's a problem with the game. It's a good game, by the way. You just
It's not a good game. It's not. I keep telling myself that. Do you know what? I will promise you, okay? By the end, and this is going on tape, and I'm not going to edit it out. By the end of this, my natural life, I will play. No, by the end of the year, I will sit down and I will play Terraforming Mars again. Okay? And I'll not only play Terraforming Mars again, Mr. Bonacore, if you're listening, I will also write an actual honest opinion of Terraforming Mars. Okay? All I need is somebody to send me, Stronghold Games, to send me a copy
and
of Terraforming Mars and all the expansion.
Yeah.
Because I'll do many things, right? But I'm not paying for it. There's no chance. What's so good about Terraforming Mars? I mean, why should I play it? I mean, I've got tons of other games. I've got like Dinogenics is there, Roots there. I've got Vast. You know, I've got Fire in the Library here, which I was looking at. I've got Summoner's Island.
I hope that's better than the previous Fire in the Library. Alexandria was crap.
Yeah.
It was so one and done. I played it, I almost backed it away before finishing it, but it was Kickstarter, so I had to finish the game and that sold immediately.
Really?
Yeah, it took too long. I mean, the downtime was ridiculous. It should have been 1 hour game. It took 2 hours, of which downtime was 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Was that Weird Giraffe that did that?
No, it was a proper bigger company, I think. It had this Vincent Dutred. No, it wasn't like that. It was like a how do you say, like a proper game. No. Yeah.
There you have it here. Jani just said Fire in the Library. Tony Miller, who designed Fire in the Library.
No, that looks actually cool.
He was on the show, right? He was on the show like 2 weeks ago, Jani.
Okay.
You have just told him his game's rubbish. Oh, it's not a proper game.
No,
Anyway.
that's not what I meant, you know.
That is definitely, I'm not editing this out. There's no chance. You know, you're in trouble now.
But I meant that it was like... Thanks, I'll say it in Finnish so you can translate. Anyway, you're a native speaker. I mean that it was like made look like a proper game. Proper meaning that it's like a big money game. Yes, that's probably... It had this Vincent Dutred artwork and nice square box and very good quality components and everything, but the game was not very good in it, in my opinion. That what you just showed looks really good. I like small boxes. I like them more. I hate these squares. I don't like square boxes. I hate them because if you store them like upright, then you have to be able to read them. I'm not putting them upright if I can't read. I mean, if I'm walking like that in this room all the time, head sideways.
Jani's currently got his head ducked to the side. Yeah. It looks like it's like when you say to your dog, "Do you want to go outside?" He goes, "Whoop."
Yeah, but I'll be hitting the doors and such if I'm walking like this. It's not good. I mean, I'm not that young. It's not healthy. I'm sure it's not healthy to go sideways all the time. What do we play and every time?
If you went to sleep like that, you'd wake up in the morning, you wouldn't be able to move your neck.
Yeah, it's horrible.
You'd be in a whole lot of trouble. You'd be like that. Ah!
It's so bad when it happens. It's so bad. I was saying about Seafall, actually. I have mine in shrink wrap there. I bought it from discount and we played Pandemic Legacy Season 1. You said about these legacy games that there has to be some kind of involvement. So we made it so that everyone paid 1/4 of the game. So we had to be involved. And that was planned beforehand already. And I was thinking the same with C4, but it's so difficult to get anyone to play the campaign
something
that
like
it has to be
it's
free.
It's got to be like a labour of love. You've got to actually sit down and say, okay, once a month or twice a month, everybody comes round for a couple of hours, we'll get the campaign played, we can put it away, and then normal board game night is normal board game night. We can bring along kind of anything that you want. Have Stronghold increased the quality of Terraforming Mars in terms of their components? This interests me. Have they decided to improve things? I don't know. I'm a man on a mission.
Why do you hate the game, by the way? Not hate, but why you don't like the game? Do you have some kind of bad experience like I have with Katana? What's your problem?
I just think it's a bad representation of Mars. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be a way to mitigate having a bad hand at the beginning.
Are you drafting?
For a game that, I mean, this is what everybody says, are you drafting? Are you drafting or are you doing it a different way? To me, the fact that a different mechanic has to be brought into a game in order to make a game workable suggests that there's a flaw within the game itself.
But I disagree with that. We don't draft. We play 2-player with my wife and we don't draft. We never draft. We just play with the cards that we are given and we try to solve that puzzle. With drafting, I wouldn't like it that much because then it becomes too strategic from the beginning and I have to go to one direction. I don't like that in a game necessarily, that I have only one direction to go to. That's why we don't draft. We take what we have. Usually we keep most of those cards, and then what we can use, we use. I mean, we have many pieces and then we try to solve them and combine them into a working engine. And we really love it as a 2-player game. I mean, we played it 6 times this year. My wife didn't play it earlier. Then in January, actually, the New Year's Day, I said, do you want to try this game? Because we just had played Underwater Cities, and she liked the game so much. I said that there is this other one that I would like you to try, this Terraforming Mars. And she said that this is a fantastic game. She wanted to play it again immediately. And it's a 3-hour game, come on. And now we are playing with all the expansions, and it's so. But I would never play it with more than 3 people. With all the expansions, and I like it because my wife likes it, and we play it in a way. We are not mean to each other, but sometimes we are mean to each other. Usually she's hitting me with asteroids and everything, and I'm saying that thank you, I wouldn't do that, and then I get them in the next game and I hit her back and I said, do you remember 1 week ago what you did? And then she gets annoyed. But it's a 2-player game for us.
It's not, I mean, I guess kind of this has all become like a kind of a joke, a running joke that I really, really don't like Terraforming Mars, from several things that have happened in my gaming life that has made me continually bring up Terraforming Mars as a game that I don't actually play. To be honest, it didn't gel with me the first time. I didn't like the way that I didn't like the way that when we played it, it was really, really difficult to catch up if you kind of fell behind it. There wasn't enough ability to mitigate, and I don't know if that was brought in by the different expansions, that you had the ability to maybe mitigate kind of like bad hands. But it seemed at the beginning that when we played, there was a few people that just like took off like nobody's business. They had a little kind of engine going within the first couple of rounds, and they were firing off into the sunset, and for everybody else they were kind of sitting there. Is that a bad? Yeah, it's potentially a bad opinion, because I cannot sit here and honestly put my hand on my heart and say I have played this game solidly 7 or 8 times and I've had the same experience those 7 or 8 times. I don't think, to be honest, if I flip it on its head, I don't think nowadays many people get a game more than 2 or 3 times to the table before they make a game. I know that for a lot of games, there's a lot more games that I could claim to say that I've played once or twice than there are games that I can claim to say I've actually sat down and played. And the ones that you do end up playing more they certainly stick in your mind, but I think because you start to unravel it, is maybe that a systematic problem with the number of games that are coming out. Yeah. That maybe we are heading towards like the video game industry, where during the year there are 15 or 20 titles that everybody kind of gravitates towards and goes for, and they end up getting played. And then there's a second level of kind of games that everybody would call the 7 out of 10s that people kind of gravitate towards as well. I don't know. All I know is there's a glut of games, and there's so many to play, so many choices, and it's all very, very wonderful. But I'm always wondering, am I doing my collection justice?
Yeah, it's actually interesting. You said your own trigger word, by the way. No one had to say 7 out of 10. But I just listened to episode yesterday, actually, when I was doing laundry. It's actually a good point, because I don't know where I read or who said it. Maybe it was Mr. Jude somewhere. Yes. I read that there are so many games coming, and I totally agree. There are so many games coming that there are only a few that are good ones. Maybe it wasn't him. Anyway, it can be my own thinking. I don't know. But there are only a few good ones that get the visibility and are published in a way. I'm using the word properly again, but so that it gets this exposure from the media and everywhere. And everyone are trying them. But there are so many good games. There are like probably hundreds of games that would be 8 out of 10, not even 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
But there are so many. Like last year, I was doing my top 9 games from 2018. I had almost 20 games that I rated more than 7.5. It was really difficult to make the end of the list, like the spaces from even 4 to 9, because I'm making top 9 lists. And even on the fly, when I was recording in Finnish, I switched the positions of 6, 5, and 4. Because there was like Rising Sun, Carpe Diem, and Coimbra. And I noticed when I was recording and spoke about the other games that I like Carpe Diem more than I like the others. And Rising Sun I haven't played for almost a year, so it has to come down a bit. So I changed it, because they are so close to each other. And it's up to the moment when you're recording or when you're thinking about it, that which is better and what is good. There are so many good games, and it's a good thing and a bad thing, because it can be a good thing because you can choose almost anything and it will be good. It can be bad because you don't know what to choose, because there are so many different games that are good. Like already last year, Heaven and Ale, Riverboat, Coimbra, Carpe Diem, maybe even Forum Trajanum. I haven't played that, but all of them are like same kind of, same weight, same length Euro games, and all of them are fantastic games that I've played. I haven't played the Forum Trajanum, but the other ones. So I don't really know what to think about it. I hope it doesn't go there, that there are huge amount of games, and whoever get whichever games get the best exposure, they are the ones that people are playing, like Wingspan now.
Well, I mean, I think that's the case. I mean, when it comes, it's really funny, because when it comes to video games and movies, probably more movies because of Netflix, I'm more likely to give something a chance regardless of how it's been reviewed by critics, because I just like to give things a chance, you know what I mean? And it's the same with like video games, as there's so many, I think there's so many really good video games out there, that because the bar on video games has seemed to be set, unless it's games are getting like an 8 or a 9 or a 10, then they kind of get disregarded as not being very, very good, which is I think it's kind of like a real shame. I couldn't make a top 10 of games.
Board games or video games or any games.
Well, no, I think I'd really struggle to make a top 10 of board games, because I wouldn't know where to start, and you're totally right when you say it depends what you're playing most of the time. Yeah. I really, really love the card game Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born. It's one of my favourite games. I really like that game. I love it. Would it be a number 1 or a number 2 game? No, but it would go into a list of games of 10.
Yeah.
You know, that I would definitely, if somebody says, well, here's your 10 games and those are the only games you have, I'd be really, really happy. It's really weird because Scythe, while I really, really like Scythe, it took a long time for me to love Scythe and really, really like Scythe. And I could see that slipping in and out of a game, a top 10 kind of games that I would play. I mean, there's the old classics. I don't know. It's very, very kind of difficult. I mean, you mentioned doing the top 9s. That's for your own channel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the good people? Because I'm aware that we're just talking away, which is very, very nice. But we're not doing what we're here, which is to tell people.
Did we have a topic, by the way?
I think I never do. I think we do.
So then we are staying on topic. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. Well, the best way to stay on topic is to never have a topic.
Yeah.
Then you never have a topic to pick. But talking about your own, okay, as a side question, okay, are there a lot of games that get kind of Finnish translations? Or do you automatically, is this just, I have to buy English games in English and that's it? I've had to, you know, obviously your English is is probably exceptionally good. It's, you know, exceptionally good. But do you just naturally think, well, I'm going to just end up having to buy an English version of the game? I mean, as if somebody produced a Finnish version of a game, would you be like, wow, it must be a huge Kickstarter then for them to kind of look at that?
We have this Finnish publisher, Lautapelit.fi, the publisher of Eclipse and Nations and many of the Stronghold games. It's originally Lautapelit, so they make these Finnish translations. They just translated Terraforming Mars. It released 1 week ago, and that must have been a chore.
That would have been a chore, because it's not a good game.
Yeah, but people in that company and Finnish people like it. But I don't know why they would translate it into Finnish, because everyone has it in English already. Are they trying to sell it to children? Or what's the purpose, really? Because I don't really know. If there is something in Finnish, I might buy it, but I'd rather get English one. Because they are released earlier, and there's not much price difference anyway. And I usually order from Amazon if I need something from abroad. So it's German or English then. I don't speak German, but I'm not buying German games that need some language. Yeah. Because Euro games you can just as well buy English. You can find the rule books almost always. And it doesn't matter if the city names or some other terms are in German. I have Feast for Odin in German. That's a bit problematic because you have to refer all the time to the book where the cards are referred. But otherwise, who cares if the worker places are German or English?
Well, I know for the likes of, say, like Viticulture that I've got, one side of the board is the English version, the other side of the board is the German version, and, you know, obviously the cards, the kind of the different visitor cards would need to be kind of translated. But for a lot of Euros that I've seen, the main kind of mechanics and stuff like that are usually represented by pictorially, by graphics of, you know, exchange this cube, you get this instead kind of thing. So I can see that kind of being a thing. So it's not, so you're just saying you're more likely just to go ahead and get back a kind of an English version of a game anyway.
Yeah, whatever is available and usually cheapest. I compare prices sometimes quite a lot because the prices can change like tens of euros and it's quite a lot. And then, of course, if you order from abroad, somewhere else than Amazon, you have to pay for the delivery. And that is not cheap. It's 20 euros to Finland. It's very bad. I mean, like from UK, if I order something, I need to order the maximum amount of weight so that it doesn't go higher. So I have to play with the order and ask friends that do you want to order as well. It's the best thing if you can combine orders with friends, because then you can split the delivery costs. They are quite high percent-wise. So.
Okay. What made you decide? which was the question I was going to ask. What made you decide to make up your own channel? What made you decide to become and Dan will love this, but a content creator?
Yeah. I consider myself actually content creator, and I don't think it's a negative term, and it's up to the person themselves if they think that they are creating content. It's not for Dan Huggs or Matthew Jude to say that it's wrong. If someone uses that term of themselves, then they use that term of themselves, in my opinion at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really understand the debate. Content is content, but if you don't feel yourself put down with that
yes.
by someone referring you to a content creator, then what's the problem?
I know. How long have you been making kind of content for?
A bit over 1 year. 1 year and 1 month, I think. I began with Instagram account, but I was in this game is broken. There was this Finnish to the Swede or Swedish to the Finn, however it was. I suggested that round to Dan, and Dan said that it's a good idea. I mean, I suggested that I can send you some Finnish words or game names and you can do something with that. And he said that there's a Swedish guy, this Markus Brisman, and we had this competition, and this Bing Bongs, so Brothers Murph and then Matthew and Dave, they tried to pronounce the names in Finnish and in Swedish, but it was a bit unfair because Swedish is basically same as English. Mm. You just speak it a bit differently. It's between German and English, so basically same grammatically. And the Finnish was a bit interesting for the guys to pronounce, as you probably noticed how easy it is.
Yes, I definitely, it's almost like a second language to me after studying it for all of 10 minutes, not all, not even slightly. Yeah,
thank you is kiitos, by the way.
All right, okay.
You can say that at the end of the show. Hopefully you say that and not something else. But anyway, it was so nice being in that podcast, and all the guys were so nice, and how can I say? I thought that this is really nice that what they are doing. I was thinking about it earlier already, and I even made a video like 3 years ago or something, but then Tom Vasel replied to me when I sent it to this podcast breakfast. We made a video with the wife, and he said that you are not enthusiastic enough, and I said that no, not really, but I said that okay, I'm Finnish, I can't be enthusiastic, so but yeah, it's like a national trait that we can't be enthusiastic.
Apparently Finland's meant to be the happiest place in the world.
Yeah, but we don't show it to each other.
But you're not very good at showing it, apparently.
No, not to each other at least.
Just about that.
Yeah, we look at the corner in a room and then we laugh to ourselves or something. No, but having a child has really... you have to be more open with how you are, and you have to be more enthusiastic, and you surely know what I mean, because I don't think Scottish are happy either. No, as a nation. No, at least that's the stereotypical thing that I've heard about Scottish people.
And they're right. I mean, definitely, we go between being kind of looking bored, absolutely miserable, and probably crying on the stairs when we're drunk. I mean, let's face it. This is the way that we're, or angry, looking for a fight about football.
Yeah, asking who stole your barrel of whiskey, and looking grumpy and
wearing a kilt, playing bagpipes, eating haggis. Let's just bring it all. Let's just bring it all out there, up in the moors. Fighting the English. Singing songs. I
actually knew one Scottish guy from playing Ultima Online. I played there was this places called Shards. I was playing in Mytharia. He was this so like Scottish looking person. He was really nice. He actually sent me a Christmas card or something. Come on, he had orange hair and these freckles on the face, and but he was really a nice person. I wish that I could meet him one day because he was really a nice person. And it was like this role-playing Ultima Online. It was not this hacking monsters and getting skills, but it was role-playing server. I actually liked doing that. All the holidays from the army went to that. What was I saying? Yeah, that this Scotland, there is this... I think all the languages have these joke books for children, and there is always this one joke about Scottish people that I remember when I listen to you in the podcast.
Right, but okay.
I shouldn't probably tell it because I have to translate it on the fly and I don't remember. Anyway, it's this Scottish Scottish man, I'm trying to tell it from the memory, is praying in the evening that, dear God, let me win in the lottery. And then he doesn't win in the lottery. And the next week when they are doing the lottery, again he's praying that, dear God, let me win in the lottery. And then that goes on, he's not winning for months. And then one evening, when he's praying, the God says that, come on, I'll let you win, but at least buy the ticket.
And there we have stereotypical racism from Jani.
Wait, this was not supposed to be in this
Mitä, Pelataan. Now remember, we're going to give you all the links to all his stuff, so if you want to write him a strongly worded letter of complaint, my Scottish friends, then I will happily direct you to where he is. That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah, that's in the book. I can show it to you, so it's not my words.
It's all good. So you're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
You're doing your Facebook. You do some written reviews as well.
Actually, I just make mini reviews to Instagram because I don't really have time to write long reviews. If I have time to write something long, I'm going to write some research stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah, because I have to finish this PhD really at some point. I've been doing it long enough. But if I put the photo, I can write whatever space there is in Instagram. I
suppose, yeah. And then you can just write a mini review and say if you enjoy it or not.
Yeah.
I suppose, which is kind of like the main thing. Have you got plans to expand the channel kind of going on there? I mean, would you like to do more videos? You know, would you like to just, you know, would you like to do more stuff? Would you like to create more media? Would you like to kind of expand on what you're doing? Are you quite happy with where you are with things?
I would like to have more time. That's actually where this came up, because you were making so many episodes. I asked that, can you give me free time? I think you misunderstood. You thought that I want to be on the show, but I just wanted free time from you to the podcast. But I didn't want to correct you because you didn't seem to remember it. Or maybe you understood what I meant, but anyway. I'm doing this favorite game Friday because I think it's really easy to make. You just make a short video and you send it to Roy. More difficult to catch Roy and get him to reply to you. I was waiting for 2 months for his reply and asking him from everywhere. He said that he was been so busy in the last autumn. That I'm doing it so easy. We begin doing the same kind of video thing in Finnish in Finland, but we do it once a month. We have this game of a month voting in a Facebook group.
Okay.
And I have this idea that I would like to make one set of videos to Board Game Breakfast, but Tom hasn't replied me. This Gmail is saying that, do you want to remind this person that he didn't reply? Sorry for the hitting the coffee cup by mistake.
I'm hearing that and it's sounding like you're kind of like, help me. You're sending a secret code.
Yeah, it's Morse. Let
me go. You're actually tapping out Morse code. That's ridiculous. If people stop it, I can do that as well. Right?
I was trying to more SOS.
If people want to find you on the internet webs, where can we find you on the internet? Where's the best place to find you?
I'm everywhere with the username Mitä, Pelataan. So basically the channel name, but written together and without the dots on top of the A. is the A with the dots on top of it. So Mitä pelataan.
Okay.
But if you go to WordPress page, it's mitapelataan.wordpress.com. There you can find all the media. It's everywhere there. Actually, today I tried to make a video from the English podcast episode because I noticed that many podcast makers are putting video to YouTube, and I tried to edit it myself, and
no.
I had to redo it 4 times because Windows Movie Maker. I tried to subtitle it so that it shows that what number of the top list and what is the game name, and then I made this small segment to the end that where you can learn Finnish. So of course I tried to put the words there written. 2 days it took. It was ridiculous. I spent 2 days, more than evenings. I mean, today I didn't go to work at 8 o'clock because I wanted to finish that, so I stayed home and I went at 11 o'clock to work. I just wanted to finish that damn video. And the timestamps didn't go correctly because Movie Maker doesn't understand the seconds as seconds. It understands them as some other fragment of time.
Just like a different thing that makes it really, really difficult sometimes to kind of bring stuff in. Yeah. When it works well. When it doesn't work, it just doesn't work at all. I just had to take from Audacity audio file the seconds and then just manually write them to the video editor without checking the preview from the video editor, and it was annoying. You look like
but it's done now. I uploaded it today.
Good. Well, there you go. So we'll make sure that we put that link in, and we'll obviously put that text to that horrible joke.
I can send you a photo if I still find the
I don't
joke.
I think you've done enough. If you want to keep an eye on what we're up to, then there's various places, all the kind of faces, various places you can find us. You just go to Google and you search for We're Not Wizards. You can find us on Twitter at We're Not Wizards. You can find it. Twitter's actually working again. It's kind of all died down. It's nice. Facebook, which is you'll find us on We're Not Wizards on Facebook. You'll find us on Instagram at We're Not Wizards as well. You will find us on our website, which is we'renotwizards.com, and our blog, which is we'renotwizards.blogspot.com, where I too write words, but I don't write jokes about Finnish people. So there you go. If you want to support the show, there's a couple of things that you can do. Tell somebody else if you like what you've listened to tonight. We always have a lot of people guesting, turning up, having good conversations, and hopefully having a little bit of fun as well. You can find us across all the different podcast catchers like your Stitchers and Spreakers and Acast and Podknife and Podbean and Cast Knife and Cast Off and Upcast and Downpod and Podnoff and everything like that. Anything with pod, anything with cast, you'll find us. If you like us really, really an awful lot, as I say, tell somebody else. The other thing you can do is you can go to Apple Podcasts and you can drop us a subscription, which is really nice, and you can drop us a rating or a review. And as we like to say, because it's 2019 but we're still treating the jokes like they're 2016, don't give us, if you are going to give us a rating or review, don't give us 10 stars because it makes us big-headed. But don't give us 1 star because it makes us cry. Give us something in the middle, like a 5, because it's average. And just like Jani, it's a little bit average. He's not. He's been absolutely wonderful. Average, actually. He's been absolutely wonderful, absolutely fantastic.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
We avoided the whole episode. We didn't talk about your tweet. So we have to mention... But no, I actually had a point because you said 5.7 million. So basically...
It's 6 now.
Yeah, but when you last said, 5.5 million, then when you said last time, it's the population of Finland.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And this country is much bigger than yours. We have so much space here, and whole Finland has seen that tweet.
Do they tell really bad jokes about Scottish people as well? Or everyone in Finland? You have like competitions?
No.
Are you banging on your glass again?
Yeah, because it has a handle. Okay. No,
it's very, very, it's a little bit overwhelming if I'm being honest. Because it's just very, very strange and a little bit overwhelming. It's very, very cool to have people contact you, but it is a little bit overwhelming. But I'd rather people did something. I don't care about if they share it. That sounds really strange, but I'd rather somebody went, right, okay, now I'm going to go off and do this thing that I've been putting off for so long. So people that have done that, that's really cool to me. People that have contacted me and said, right, because of you, I've now gone ahead and I've written that first chapter, or I've recorded my first video, or I kind of inspired me to get back in the car for some reason, or whatever. You know, as long as people are doing stuff and realising that potentially the first time they do it might not be as good as the rest of the times that they do it, I'm cool with that. You know, I didn't do it to be kind of anything else rather than it was a bit of fun at a time on a Monday morning and it's done, you know, that's all it is. But,
yeah, but because of you, now I've been properly a guest somewhere and I've been awful, so I won't be again anywhere as a guest. No. You said that everyone should do something first time it's awful, so I've now done it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But then on the other side of it, this has been like episode 270 odd, which means I've been doing this a long time, which means by proxy you can't have been awful because it wasn't my first time as interviewing somebody.
So you're saying that you are lifting people up?
I'm saying you're just above average.
Yeah, okay. So 5 million stars.
5 million, yeah, exactly. But thank you very, very much for coming on.
Yeah, sorry for cutting you.
I'm shallow and self-centered, so about 5 minutes time I'll get over it completely. It'll all be wonderful.
But I thought that you want to mention the tweet anyway, because we didn't get to it.
It's all good. Thank you again for coming on. As I say, go to Twitter, check out Mitä, Pelataan, and keep an eye out on everything else that Jani is going to be doing. There's only a couple more things to do. The first thing is to remember we're many things, but we're not wizards. Are we wizards, Jani? Think very carefully.
Now that I've been staring at the screen, I think we are hot wizards.
Yeah, I said we should be set on fire.
In a library.
In a library. And the next thing is to say goodbye. So it's a goodbye from Jani. Say goodbye, Jani.
Moi moi.
And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe, roll sixes, make something awful. But until the next time, goodbye.
Moi moi.
A wizard is never late. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.